What up, guys? Welcome back to Penny Hills Fishing. So, Black Friday. A lot of you guys probably went out there and got deals. Some of you may even spent some good money on some electronics and are now thinking about rigging it up. So, depending on what you did and how crazy you went, you know, this is more for a dual setup. So, if you did a dual setup or you're running a second graph on your front of your boat now and you've got an active target or you've done something else, this is what I have done to make my life a little bit easier, and some things that you might think about wanting to get in the future while getting your active target or your new units. Number one, getting a good bow mount graph like this guy right here, you know, is important. You know, this is a nice dual setup. It's strong. I got it actually from Bass Fishing Electronics. They're a really good company out of New Hampshire. Suggest you check them out if you haven't. You know, the guys there are great. I've always had a great time talking with them and shooting the shit with them and all that kind of stuff and trying to get more knowledge and what I'm wrong on or what my opinions may be and how they're wrong. So anyways, guys, that's probably number one. Get yourself a decent, you know, standalone dual graph setup so that way it's nice and solid. Also, don't wimp out on the screws either. Don't be putting back in the same small screws that when you got the boat. Put in a bigger screw, get some drill bits, get out there, drill a little bit of a bigger hole, put a bigger screw in. Even think about maybe even bolting or getting a second plate. And there's a lot of weight that gets thrown around on these front of these boats now. So just consider that, you know. Don't spend thousands of dollars on electronics and then just, you know, like I did, put zip ties up there and strap it to the front of the boat and run a season and wonder why things break on you. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Don't be like me on that kind of stuff. I'm cheap. I always take the easy way out when it comes to rigging up, just so I can get out there and go fishing. Learn over the years, set it up correctly. So once you get all your nice bow mounts and all that stuff, what's next? Well, honestly, not much other than just really rigging it out. I mean, you're going to want to, you know, run wires, do all this great stuff. But if I was going to suggest something, I would suggest at least getting if you got forward-facing sonar, get those on a standalone battery. Get that forward-facing sonar on a standalone battery. Honestly, lithium's probably your better bet just because it's lighter. You can relocate it somewhere in the front of your boat, run a shorter power cord, which will give you better power to that unit and everything else. Also, if you can and you can afford it, get a bigger battery, set up all these units on the front with something, okay? You know, have that all on one battery source. Get away from trying to draw everything from that back battery that you use for your power poles, your pumps, the starter. You know, you're asking a lot at the end of the day when we add up all these units on the front. So, you know, definitely consider, if you haven't already, look at some lithium battery companies, see which ones fit for you. Personally, I mean, I run the Amped Outdoors. I'm definitely thinking about other companies or whatever that I would use, but I run a 30 amp and that seems to work great just for the active target. I've put it on both units to see if I can get a better, you know, readout throughout the day. What I found is that 30 amp hours for me just isn't enough. So realistically, you know, if I wanted just to run a unit and active target on a unit, I would think about a 50 amp hour battery plus, you know, and then as you start adding on other units to the front of your boat with that same battery, I think about upgrading that battery as well too. So that being said, guys, you know, just a small little setup. You know, as you can see, I'll just zoom through it a little bit. This is how I have it set up. Got it nice zip tied all around. You know, the wires come out of the middle here, nice clean setup, so I can take everything off, put it back on. You know, power wires come down through here. You know, I store my spare battery in this rod locker over here. You know, it keeps a nice short distance. So now I'm getting the best out of the battery, best out of the active target. You know, that's just a couple of things that I've done over the past couple months, you know, and experimenting with this active target. There's other upgrades that I definitely want to do. What I would suggest is getting a rotating mount for this, that this can just spin, turn, and click. You know, I think honestly, that's probably on my Christmas wish list, to be honest with you, to get something like that, just so I can turn and move this mount on the fly without having to take off the screws. I mean, because realistically, guys, this is the only Downside I really don't like about this mount is you have to take off all these just to turn this into scout mode or down mode or whatever. So I mean, if you can get a different mount that allows you to do that more on the fly, where it's just a twist and not having to take off a bunch of screws, I highly recommend that one as well too. So if you're done shopping, you're probably gonna go shopping again. I'm sorry, it wasn't my intention, but I really want a lot of you guys to be successful out there with getting this equipment. You're spending a lot of money. You know, I really want you guys to enjoy it and not just to get frustrated right off the bat. Go, oh geez. You know, we're out here as a community. I'm giving you a little insight on what I do. Hopefully it works out for you guys. And if you didn't go out there and buy a bunch of new units on the front of the boat and you've been thinking about it and you're trying to figure out the numbers, here we go, guys. This is what I'm going to suggest for you. Mount, battery. That's what I would suggest extra for you if you haven't put it into consideration for your active target or your forward facing sonar. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoy your winter. I'll try to get a few more videos out next week. But anyways, have a good one. Peace.